All right, hey, welcome to the FXR Race Review Show. I'm Billy Rainford. I'm solo this weekend here at Deschambault, but we're going to move forward here anyway. Next week we'll have a co-host, well, next in 2 weeks, but lots of stuff to talk about here. We're here at Deschambault, just west of Quebec City. I will say this was by far the most attended, the most national feeling race we have had this year. I want to say this year, I don't want to say 10 years. I don't remember a race being this excited. I mean, the crowd was so into it. The place was absolutely packed. I mean, we know the Quebec fans are into motocross, but this year was something next level. I mean, speaking with Jacob Thibault and Daniel Thibault, the numbers were through the roof for the ECAN, so that started the week off great, and it rolled over right into the weekend. So I mean, today here on Sunday at Pro Day, it was incredible. The people were nuts, like literally bumping into people, trying to get, you know, you had to watch where you were going. It was incredible. People all over the place, all over the track, like they always are here in Quebec. It just makes such a unique atmosphere. It was pretty amazing. So a few things to talk about. Let's just kind of go through the two classes like we always do. In the 250 class, we'll start off there. Dylan Rempel, I mean, he tried racing he did race the ECAN a couple days. Wasn't where he needs to be he's coming back from that injury, hitting his head and stuff like that. So the team, I'm told the team decided, you know what, let's just wait, let's give it a bit more time. You're not quite ready, obviously. Let's wait till Walton when get you up to 100%. So hopefully Dylan Rempel's back. The kid's a competitor, obviously wants to be out there. Moving out, I mean, full fields. We had, I think only one or two people didn't qualify in each class, but so that was, 41, 42 kind of riders in each class. Moving up in here, Sam Gaynor, I'm kind of moving up the little things that I made a note by here. Sam Gaynor was 14th overall, but don't forget, he raced the premix class as well. So he finished that, they were at the podium, boom, he had to go, they had time to put some gas in the bike, and he was already back at the line for the 250 Pro Moto. So awesome to see him racing that much. And I mean, we don't really talk about the premix too much in these review shows, but him, Jack Wright and Kevin Benoit put on just a great show in the premix class today, so that was pretty cool. Shot a bit of video, lots of photos. We'll talk about that, of course, through the week here. 12th overall, 434 for Williamcrete. Now, obviously a great starter up there at the front, held on to 4th in that first moto. So he's looking faster in the outdoor stuff than I've seen him. I mean, he did those 3 races, the AMA stuff, so obviously that went well. I don't really know what happened with his 34th. Obviously, it was a DNF in the second moto, so tough for him, but he did end up 12th. 9th place, top intermediate. He won the JSR award. Almost went undefeated at the ECAN. I think it was 8 for 9 motos. He had contact with another rider, or he would have been perfect for the ECAN. I'm talking about Tanner Scott, number 146. 9-9 for 9th, and he ended up on his own. Like, I mean, there were guys. 10th place guy wasn't there on him, so he was flying. I mean, the kid looks great. I know obviously great things in the future for this guy. The other big news, 8th place, Weston Rosina dropped down to the 250 class for the MX101 team. It was interesting to see how he was going to do. Had a bit of a rough day, hit the ground. I know he's obviously still banged up his shoulder, his ribs are still bad, a little bit of an ear issue going on. He crashed, ended up going 10-8 for 8th overall. Obviously we know he's a bit faster than that, but had a bit of a rough one. 7th place, Josiah Nakatsuki won the first moto. Great battles up front, got out front early. After Ryder McNabb had the whole shot, got out front. But then in the second moto, he was going, and all of a sudden you could see him slowing down. He was up there in that battle. He wasn't with the first guys. There were like 4 or 5 of them up front. He started closing on them, closing up, and then started slowing down, started kind of cruising, and something's wrong with the bike. It wouldn't go properly. He said he went by a jump. I know he went by Julian Perrier, the owner of the team, and bike kind of cut out. So they're trying to work on what it was. Obviously, it wasn't safe to keep pushing. 132 for 7th for Josiah. Obviously not what he wanted. I've been very impressed with number 34, Wyatt Kershaw, man. 6th place overall today, 8-5. He was in some great battles. I mean, he and I think it was Quinn Amiot were just wheel to wheel, going at it. I mean, he looks like he belongs up there. Again, he's one of those riders who has a good day, had a good day a little bit ago, and it's just what it takes to kind of make that next step into the battling for podiums and wins eventually, right? So good for him, Wyatt Kershaw. Speaking of Quinn Amiot, he ended up 6-6 for 5th overall. He had to kind of move his way up. Then he was in the good battles in that second moto. So good on Quinn. I mean, obviously he wants to be up there farther, but 6-6 for 5th wasn't bad. Jeremy McKay, the other big story was that he was under the KTM Red Bull Thor team. Got that chance, so he'll be there this weekend at Walton at the final as well. So he pulled the whole shot in the second moto. He led for like 20 minutes. I mean, he was holding the guys off. Started, I don't know if he faded or not, but the guys closed in on him. He would end up holding on to third, so good for him getting on the podium there in the second moto. 7-4 for fourth overall, so good for him. Looked great. Sebastian Racine, he looked great. The first moto he was up there, he grabbed third in the first moto. Second moto kind of, I don't want to say faded, but he kind of lost the pace a little bit. He had lots of fans screaming. Same with Jeremy McKay here, obviously being Quebec. Well, Sebastian is from Ontario, but he's very well known here in Quebec, very close to the border and everything. But Jeremy McKay had the crowd going crazy as he was up in third place there. So those two guys, that was good. That's the podium there for Sebastian Racine. He ended up third on the day, 3-4, so good for him. Mitchell Harrison, fifth in the first moto, and then came back and won the second moto. So good for him. He's out of the points, unfortunately. He's back a bit, but still looked good. He's still got some wins in him. Good for him. 5-1 for second overall. 2-2 for Ryder McNabb. I mean, these guys, they ended up a little separated in the second moto, but the first one was a great battle. Watching the guys up front. If you watch the second one, I know that they had a bit of a fire drill there over at the GDR pitch, because went to start his bike for the second moto, bike wouldn't go. So they had to bring up the backup bike. So he was out there on his backup bike, pulled the whole shot in the first one. That wasn't the end of it too, because we'll get to this, but Dylan Wright, same thing happened in the 450 class. So he had to grab a practice bike, or his backup bike for the second moto. But 2-2, 3 more points gained on Mitchell Harrison in the championship, with only 2 motos left to go. Boy, barring incident, the GDR boys are going to have a couple champions there when we get done here. So, well, they already have the one, which we're going to get to here. But that was a 250 class, so it was great battles up front. Again, the crowd was crazy. It was really good to see that, as it always is here in Quebec. But 450 class, tough luck for 38th place, Chris Blackmore. Man, I think he had some bike troubles in that first one. He scored with a 39th, so troubles in that one. He way up front, troubles. Same thing in the second one, way up front. Had a weird crash. He was coming just back over here. There's a downhill. Got a little sideways. Went off like basically a little bit of a cliff. Kind of went flying off. Hurt his leg. He actually the guys carried him off. The team carried him back to the pits. I just talked to him. He said it's his ankle. He's not sure how bad it is. He's a tough kid. He's even admits, he goes, I got a high pain tolerance. Who knows how it is. He'll be at Walton. You just know he's going to line up again. But unfortunately, it was a really weird one. I caught the tail end of it in video when shooting off down the hill into the bushes, and he all of a sudden disappeared, and the bike shot out at the bottom. So luckily he wasn't hurt worse than that. 21st, I interviewed him last week. Kale Kuchnicki out of Michigan. Drove all the way to Riverglade by himself. He's still out here by himself. Was here all by himself. Rode the 450 to 18th place. He was some troubles with the bike. Is worried that it wasn't going to make it. It's got a lot of hours on it. Actually, the frame was broken. Actually, what am I talking about? Yeah, broke his frame. So he has that 252 stroke that we saw him at Riverglade. Busted that thing out. Went over to the start line. No go. They said no. You can't ride a Americans can't ride a 250 in the 450 class. Which anyway, so he wasn't able to ride that second moto. So 18 DNF for 21st overall. He's going to go try to race Unadilla the Saturday and then Walton on the Sunday. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if he makes that happen in 2 weeks. So that'll be cool to keep an eye on that for sure. It was cool to see both the Silva boys out here, seeing their dad Jay DeSilva over there packing both gates, running around like the old days. Christopher DeSilva ended up 29th. Michael DeSilva, long hair, man, real long hair. I didn't know at first, he had it in a bun at first, but if you see the pictures of him, big long hair. Ended up 14th, 16th, 13th, so that was cool to see. 13th place should have been much higher. He's running up in like 5th place. Talking about Daniel Elmore, number 13. He was up in that 5th, 6th place kind of thing. Last lap, I think he got a rear flat just back here. Came off this, over jumped this, just blew up his back wheel. Tried to make it, he only had like a couple turns to go. Back wheel wouldn't go. There he was sitting there, tried to push it, really hard to push in the sand. The cool thing was number 20, Logan Lightsaw, who in that moto, boy, where was he? He was 11th in that moto, crossed the finish line. I didn't even see it, dropped his bike. Next thing you know, he's running out on the track, helping him push. Man, it was still hard to push. They wanted to get him across the finish line. Next thing you know, number 991, Brendan McKee, he drops his bike and he's over there pushing. So we got 3 guys. They make it across the transponder line. I'm not sure what the scoring is going to happen with that. If you get help, push, whatever. It was awesome to see. 2 of the nicest guys you're going to find. Logan was just whipped. He was just sitting there. So kudos to those guys for helping him out. And it was a tough blow for Daniel Elmore, who had a great day going. Second moto proved it again. He came out, ended up 6th place. Kind of by himself a little bit in that one. He was in some good battles and kind of ended up on his own. 13th overall. The number 13 ended up 13th. It was cool to see Alexander Morin out there, number 686. I was like, what's 686 that we know? A lot of the French guys that we don't see all the time made it out to this round. Great to see him. 9th in the first one and 15th in the second for 12th. So good on him. And speaking of the Quebec guys, Tommy Dallaire and Guillaume Saint-Cyr. Great to see Guillaume Saint-Cyr out here on his 350, the number 27. Those two guys, I mean, obviously they know each other for years and years, both want to beat each other. Guillaume just tracked him down, made the pass eventually, gapped him a little bit on his 350, so it was fun to watch though. They went 11-12 in that second moto, but Tommy Dallaire ended up 11th. Mitch Cook, Mitch Cook, 12-10 for 10th, cracked that top 10. Just did an interview with him. He says he's over it. He's done. He's he does a lot of riding. He's fit. He's you know, he's good and everything, but he's not into the racing anymore. Doesn't think he's going to go. I'm going to talk to Alex Parker, see if we can't get him to fly to Walton. We need to see him out there again. It was cool to see him. Get Adam Turner there too. Anyway, he ended up cracking the top 10. I mentioned Guillaume Saint-Cyr, 8-11. He looked good on that 350, like I say, for 9th. Logan Lightsaw didn't. The first one wasn't where we expected him to see back there in 11th. Second moto kind of got up there again. He was up in the battle and stuff. Ended up 8th. So he ended up 8th overall. I'm impressed by Yannick Boucher. Yannick Boucher, 7th overall, 7-9. He was up there in the mix battling, like he was pushing some of the top guys. So I think we saw him at Riverglade. He was a lot looser than normal. He was throwing the bike sideways. He seems to have carried it over. So I think he seems to have turned a bit of a corner there. Looked comfortable up there going that pace, a lot less rigid. Sometimes he rides a bit rigid. Looked really fluid, throwing the bike around, moving around a bit. Good to see that. Liam O'Farrell, classic Liam. Kept moving off, guys got tired, he picked them off. Moving up, 6-7 for 6th overall from Liam O'Farrell. He kind of led a train of 4 guys, had a great battle there. Obviously, you're not going to slow him down. Cool to see him. Felix Lopez, 4-5, great day for him. Looks really good. He was closing too, and in his motos ran out of time. He had Moffenbauer closing in on him, and then Moff had some troubles in that first one to save 4th. So 4-5 for 5th overall for Felix, the Mexican champ, Mexican rider. Speaking of Moffenbauer, he crashed on the first lap. I think just kind of right over here somewhere. Ended up way back. He ended up clawing his way back to 5th place in that first one. So a great ride for him. He ended up 4th place overall. Second one, he was 4th, so another one, great ride for him. But ended up on his own. He had to make some passes, and then he was in kind of no man's land because, well, the top 3 guys were gone. Top 3 guys were gone. I want to say there might have been a minute. I have to check the results and stuff. But Tanner Ward, again, first free practice. He's out there. I was looking, it's like something is going on with Tanner Ward, man. He looks loose, he looks comfortable, he looks really fast, and he was. So he went 3-3, had some amazing battles with Tyler Medallion. So I mean, normally it's you know, it'd be Dylan, Tyler and Moff going, and then Tanner would be kind of fighting in that 4th spot. But man, hopefully he can carry this over into Walton, because he's now a guy fighting for podiums, absolutely, because he went 3-3, grabbed a huge hole shot, held the guys off for a long time, ended up 3-3 for 3rd. So good on him. Great battle with Tyler Medallion. Speaking of Tyler Medallion, he ended up with a massive hole shot in that second moto, huge, and held off. But in the first moto, he held off Dylan Wright for a long time. He was feeling really good. They got in some lap trouble and stuff like that, feeling little mistakes and stuff like that. But 2-2 for Tyler. That huge hole shot in the second one. Dylan got around in the first lap, and then he and Tanner Ward just went at it. It was great to watch. So we did some highlights and stuff like that, but if you watch the Ride TV broadcast too, if you want to see some really good racing between the 2nd and 3rd place guys. So 2-2 for 2 for Tyler. Dylan Wright, I mean, the guy's busted up. He's got a broken rib. He's got no ACLs. He's out here. He had that fire drill getting the backup bike going for the second moto. 1-1. Took him a long time to get around Tyler in the first moto. Had to get around Tanner Ward as well. So took him a long time. Said he wasn't feeling the flow, but he made it, and then you know, ended up with a pretty safe victory. Taking a look over his shoulder. Second one, he got out there early and looked pretty dominant in that second one, and left Tyler and Tanner to battle for 2nd place. So it was really good racing. Track got really rough. The sand was great. They brought in more sand. Guys doing a huge jump back here. I'm not sure what the name of this jump is, if anyone's named it not. We'll have to do that. But that was fun to watch. The place was crazy. Weather was perfect. Yeah, what can you say? I mean, we spoke with Jacob Thibault, did an interview with him after the ECAN. He was super pumped, over 1,000 entries and stuff like that. So the numbers are climbing. Things are going great here. We'll tidy up a few things for next season. Next year here, we talked about that too. A couple little glitches that happened, but man, all in all, just a great event. I mean, we should have all 8, 9, 10 rounds here in Quebec. I mean, this is the fans just make it what it is. So a great experience. I'm gonna give. I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna. This was the best national so far. Last week, Riverglade was amazing, and some of the other ones have been great as well. But boy, check out the videos, the photos and stuff. The place was packed. Like, there were thousands of people here. Normally say hundreds, there were thousands here. It was amazing. So kudos to the Quebec fans, knowledgeable group. A Loved the racing, it was amazing. So yeah, that's gonna do it. We've only got, hard to believe, we've got the Trans-Can coming up, and then we've got the last round at Walton Raceway in 2 weeks. So I mean, the season's almost over, man. That's crazy how summers go like that. But yeah, that's kind of what happened here, the way I saw it. Thank you very much. That's been the FXR race review from here at Motocross Deschambault. We'll see you at Walton.